He spent 14 years in prison. He was beaten, starved, and thrown into solitary confinement underground. For one reason, he would not stop preaching the name of Jesus Christ. This is the story of Richard Wurmbrand, a man who faced darkness, yet shone like light. A man who was tortured for Christ and still sang. Richard Wurmbrand was born in 1909 in Romania, an atheist, a thinker, a man of intellect, but everything changed when he encountered Jesus Christ. The transformation was radical. From unbelief to unshakable faith, he became a pastor, bold, passionate, uncompromising. Then, in 1944, the Soviet Union took over Romania. Communism swept the country like a storm, and with it came hatred of religion. Churches were shut, Bibles were burned, and pastors were ordered to submit to the state. In a packed Congress hall, church leaders were lining up to praise communism, bowing to the regime to survive. But Sabina turned to her husband and whispered,
"Richard, wipe the shame from the face of Christ."
Richard rose. He walked to the stage and told the entire government that their persecution was evil, that Jesus Christ was the only truth, that the church would not be silenced. He knew he had just signed his own death warrant. Soon after, he was arrested, disappeared, no trial, no charges, just gone. He was locked underground in a solitary cell. No light, no sound, no human voice for years. They beat him with rods, burned his feet, locked him in a freezer cell until he nearly died. Yet every morning Richard stood, raised his hands, and prayed.
Alone in a cell, I danced for joy. I felt the presence of Jesus so strongly, I could not help but sing.
Sabina, too, was arrested, sent to forced labor for 3 years. Her crime? Being the wife of a Christian pastor. When she returned, she had no idea if Richard was even alive. But he was alive, and when he came out, his fire had not gone out. The government warned him, stop preaching. But he began again, underground, in caves, in forests, in whisper networks of the persecuted church. They arrested him again, this time for 5 more years. Again, he sang. Again, he forgave. He even kissed the hands of the guards who beat him. Finally, international pressure forced the government to release him. Western Christians paid a ransom to free Richard and Sabina. They fled to the West, but they didn't run from the mission. They told the world what they had seen. Richard stood before Congress, revealing the scars on his back. He founded Voice of the Martyrs, to be a voice for the voiceless.
I have seen Christians whose tongues were cut out, yet their eyes were full of love. The underground church is not defeated, it is alive.
Today, the spirit of Richard Wurmbrand lives on in every believer who dares to speak the name of Jesus in danger. In every prison cell where the gospel is whispered. In every heart that chooses love over hate. He was tortured for Christ, but he never broke, because some fires only burn brighter in the dark. Subscribe for more powerful stories of bold faith. Roots of bold faith. Let their courage take root in you.